Adı soyadı nedir?
Melek İpek.
Melek, kısaca bana bir olayı anlatır mısın? Tüfeği nasıl doldurduğunu bir göstersin bize. Koltuğun altına koydun da o şekilde tetiğe bas.
Böyle olmasını ben hiçbir zaman istemedim. Yanımda olan, destek olan herkese binlerce kez teşekkür ederim.
In January 2021, an event in Antalya, Turkey, sparked a nationwide debate on justice and self-defense. According to reports, Melek İpek, a woman who had endured years of physical and psychological abuse, shot and killed her husband, Ramazan İpek, with a shotgun. She described her actions as a desperate fight for survival. However, the legal proceedings that followed challenged the boundaries of self-defense in the justice system. How did this case unfold, and what was the final verdict? On the night of January 7, 2021, in Antalya, a heated argument broke out between Melek İpek and her husband, Ramazan İpek. According to Melek's testimony, her husband handcuffed her, beat her for hours, and threatened to kill her. She claimed that throughout the night, he repeatedly stated he would murder both her and their children. At dawn, Ramazan left the house but returned a few hours later. By that time, Melek was still handcuffed. During a struggle between the two, Melek managed to grab a shotgun and fired it, killing Ramazan İpek. After the incident, she immediately called the emergency services and informed the authorities. When the police arrived, they found her still restrained in handcuffs, visibly shaken, and in need of medical attention. Following the incident, Melek İpek was taken into custody and charged with intentional homicide. The prosecution argued that although she had suffered abuse, her act of killing should be considered under unjust provocation, which could lead to a sentence reduction. On April 26, 2021, she stood trial in Antalya's High Criminal Court. The prosecution, however, revised their stance, requesting a sentence of 2 to 6 years for reckless homicide rather than intentional murder. The court, referring to legal provisions stating that exceeding self-defense limits due to fear, panic, or distress should not result in punishment, ruled in favor of Melek İpek's release. The verdict created a major public reaction, with many debating the implications of self-defense laws. The decision was appealed to a higher court, which upheld the local court's ruling. When the case was brought before Turkey's Supreme Court, it was determined that the decision was not subject to further appeal, making the ruling final. Melek İpek was officially declared not guilty, reinforcing the precedent that self-defense can be justified in cases of extreme domestic violence. Melek İpek's acquittal ignited discussions about the boundaries of self-defense in the justice system. Women's rights activists saw the verdict as a significant legal precedent, arguing that it set an example for other domestic abuse survivors. Meanwhile, legal experts emphasized the need for clear distinctions between self-defense and intentional homicide. Her lawyer, Ahmet Onaran, stated that the ruling would serve as a reference point for future trials, marking a pivotal moment in Turkey's legal history. However, the fact that Melek spent 107 days in prison despite clear evidence of her abuse also raised concerns about the psychological toll of such trials on victims. So do you think this decision is correct? We look forward to your thoughts in the comments.